Good morning, friends, and welcome back. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage, and today I thought I would show you how to do a simple little project. This is a glass globe with some paint on the inside where we decoupaged a few snowmen or snow people, and I'll show you how we can do this. We'll be adding some glitter to that too. Now, if you're using napkins, you want to cut your images out, but don't separate them. Don't separate the napkin yet. I have to add this though. This project will be so much easier if you use wrapping paper. So if you have a pretty pattern, it could be reindeer, Santa, snowman, any image that you want. Wrapping paper will be much easier to work with, but you've got to keep the images pretty small, about the size of this one, because when you're working on a curve on the inside of the glass, it can be very challenging. If you're using napkins, just separate the napkins after you've cut them and make sure they fit inside the space you're working in. Then you want to apply some decoupage glue on the inside. If you're using napkins, you want to use napkin decoupage glue. And make sure you put the image so that place it down so that it's facing outwards, and apply decoupage glue over the surface. Now you want to be careful here because quite a few times, and I did it right there, because you're working on a curve, the paper naturally wants to curve downwards, inwards, it wants to fold in on itself. This is because I was working with a napkin. So if you have any wrapping paper, I suggest you use the wrapping paper. It's so much easier to work with. And after I fixed that first napkin, I went around and applied 3 more pieces around the inside, following those same techniques. Then when I was done adding the napkins, I put this aside to dry. And once it dried, I took more decoupage glue and I went all around the inside and applied the decoupage glue over everything that I just finished. You want to make sure this is dry, especially if you're using napkins, because you can pull them right up. So I'm applying all of the decoupage glue around the inside, and while that decoupage glue is still wet, I am taking 2 different sized glitter, the Martha Stewart, this is the fine glitter and the coarse glitter, and I'm going to sprinkle it all along the inside between the snowmen, not on the snowmen. I'm trying to go between, you don't have to get carried away with this, but I'm going in between the snowmen, and the 2 different sizes will create a little bit of depth on the inside of this and look very pretty. I'll show you when I'm done. And now I'm going to put this aside and leave it sit to dry. Now you can see this is dry and it looks very pretty. It's very glittery and shimmery, and you can leave it just like this, except we'll add a little glitter to the top also. Or you can do this next step, and I'm only showing you this in case you really want these snowmen to stand out. So what I did was I poured some paint on the inside of this jar. And by the way, if you are ever tempted to buy one of these spray paint tubes, now this is by Folk Art. I've had nothing but problems with this thing and I'm very disappointed with it. I've tried using it several different ways. It doesn't work, so I'm just going to dump the paint in here and toss this. This was just a huge waste, this spray. I wanted to get it to mimic snowflakes, so you could spray on little light pieces of snow. I did add a tiny bit of water into this. I'd say maybe a half a teaspoon or a couple of drops of water, because I wanted to make sure that this flowed easily around this globe, but I also wanted to make sure that it was a little bit more sheer than just regular paint. That was in case I wanted to put a candle inside of this. Now personally, I'd rather just left it this way with the glitter on it. I decided to put the paint inside of here. Wasn't as crazy about it with the paint in here, but you may like the look of that. So either way, you've got a pretty little globe here, and then I'll show you the next step. And here's how the globe looks when it's fully painted. You can see you lose a lot of the glitter, but I still wanted a little bit of sheerness here. That's why I did put the glitter in there. And I'll put it upside down to dry. Now with the paint back here, it reinforced the back of the napkin so the snowman stands out a little bit more. You can't see the glitter as well, but that did provide for some spaces for candlelight to show through, and we still have to add some glitter up to the top of this. So I'm going to breeze by this part very quickly because what I did was I took crystal gel and the two different glitters and I mixed them all together just like you do with Mod Podge and glitter. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but I'll be doing a project on that shortly, which turns out beautifully. Mixing the crystal gel and the glitter did not work out too well, but I only found that out after I was done. So I'm going to show you, I just put all of this around the surface. You don't need to watch this, I'm just explaining what is happening when I show you the final product. I put this all around the surface and let it dry, and it didn't dry very well. So we had an ice storm, which turned everything in our yard and our house to ice. The plow hit our mailbox, and we had another ice storm that night, and a somewhat steep driveway. This is a picture from the fall, but this had turned to ice, and we had to tend to that. And why am I telling you this? Because I feel like so many of you are my friends. I would have gone back and done this whole thing all over had I had any extra time. I did not. And here's how this top looked. I don't like it at all. It's not nearly as fiery. So here's what I did. I took the crystal gel and I just added it right back over where I had originally placed it. And then I just added the coarse and fine glitter over top of this while it was wet. All you need to know is you would want to put this crystal gel up around the top and add the glitter to it while it's wet. And again, the two different sides, or the coarse and the fine glitter, make this really stand out and look very glittery, sparkly, and festive. So once this all dried, here's how this crystal gel looks with the glitter on it. You can see how fiery it is. A little bit of the glitter is showing through the paint on the globe. And I'll show you how this looks with a little candle inside of it. And here it is with the candle inside of it. I'm not even that wild about it with the paint on it. I wish I would have just left it all glitter. It is such a hectic week. I'm sure it is for all of you guys too. We're going into the home stretch. Christmas is this weekend, and I believe a couple of the other holidays are coming up this weekend too. Whatever holiday you celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful, safe, happy, healthy holiday. And this is one of those videos that almost didn't get made. As a matter of fact, I was so busy and so hectic all week, and I know that so many of you can relate to this. My husband kept telling me, sit down, stop, stop, stop. So I know that all of us are going through this right now. This was supposed to be a quick and simple project. If you'd like me to repeat this project with wrapping paper and simply the glitter, let me know. I may just do it later on in the winter anyway, because it's always nice to have a winter themed project. And don't forget, Upcycle with Decoupage is over on Facebook. If you go over and like and follow the page, you'll be notified every week when I put a new video out. And please don't forget to subscribe, guys. It's really important to us over here on YouTube. And don't forget about my exciting announcement coming up in January. I will see you next week with another video, and the link to my website is just below this video in the description box. If you'd like to see the supply list or even purchase the supplies, you can head on over there. And again, my friends, very, very happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.